And you know,
Good.
so it was nice.
How you doing, Nima?
I'm fine. Let me quickly apologize. I couldn't make it this year. My kids have not forgiven me, and I don't think YK has as well, but I'll make it up some way. I felt that morning while we're getting our bottom box clothes. So next year, I'll put it in the wardrobe, not in the bottom box. Today is Gufran's birthday. She's 11 years old.
Happy birthday, Gufran!
Our Oda of the house, the big girl, the first lady, and her daddy's girl. Happy birthday, Gufran. May Allah bless you. You're the coolness of my eyes. You bring joy to my heart. And she's so mature. She takes care of me. She takes care of her brother. She went to school. I really missed her because with Gufran, I just need to say, get it. If I come home and my room is not done, it's not done. She does it. She's just hands-on. May Allah reward you. May Allah continue to enrich you with the kind of knowledge.
How old is she today?
11 years.
Nice.
So I'm going home to cook turkey and jollof.
Yes.
Yes, because we're not having party. No, I've told her she called all her friends, don't come. But I just, she had a photo shoot. You should see Gufran in the
You're supposed to do it last year.
Yes, I did.
Because, yes,
I did. The pictures are almost
love
ready.
to see it. Please send it to us.
She's
We'd like
very,
to see.
very beautiful.
Beautiful. How are you doing, Mariam? I love your outfit.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Yesterday I was at a wedding.
For you.
Yes, I was at a wedding yesterday. It was a beautiful, elegant affair. Sunny Ade was there. That's how I now know that I'm a Lagosian. Because when I first came, right, anytime there's a party and Sunny Ade and everyone is excited.
What is this one?
I know the old man that dances, I think Yoruba song. But yesterday, the moment, then I was, now I'm a full Lagosian now. It was so exciting to be there, yes. So got home late and really, if it was left to me, I would have gone because I know there's work today. So
interestingly, when I went for the crossover, the stuff I had the countdown, because my church is actually close to it, and I saw TT, I saw the TVC people. I'm thinking I have to be on the show. So I got. So they're telling me, we do this all the time. From the concerts, we go straight to work. I'm there like, I gotta go home. It's past 2 a.m. And they're thinking, no. We from here we go to work.
Wow.
So I'm thinking, okay. So that they're used to it.
No, that shows your age. I think you're much older than Tokwe than Titi.
Okay.
So when you're younger, when you are younger, you can.
Okay, please.
My
burn the candle at both ends. 40,
I just feel like a
something.
part of my brain is not quite connected to this. It's not sitting like.
I can't do it anymore.
I go home at past 4
I can't
I have to
do
be
it
at
anymore.
7:30 in the morning.
Imagine YK had a 31st party and cancelled Tuesday.
I called Bumi. I said, Bumi, that Tuesday is not going to happen. Can't happen.
I have to be at work, but let's go on a break. It's still holiday. By Monday, we'll now have our serious faces. We're still partying because the people are doing wedding on a Wednesday.
We had a week break and we didn't sleep.
My brother that started work in the US, like, hey, guys are still partying. Yeah, we have a party. This week is still partying. We're still partying. Let's go on a break. When we return, we'll look at the front pages of the paper. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
We're going to start with the nation. EFCC freezes 30 billion naira NSIPA cash traced to private accounts. Prayers for Akeredolu. Why I back the recent re-election by Jonathan. Articles will run again in 2027, says aide. Ex-Sierra Leone President Koroma heads for Nigeria on asylum after treason charges. Abbas, lawmakers want to drop constituency projects. Private school fees put parents under pressure. 4.5 million voters to elect 2 senators, 16 reps, 25 assembly members next month. And Aida Tua suspends council caretaker chairman. Okay, which story are we starting with?
So while we were on a break, the governor of Ondo State, the former governor of Ondo State, Akeredolu, passed on the 27th of December, preceding his passing, too many political drama happening. But now a group of people, said the kinsmen and political associates of the former governor, put together what they call an 8-day prayer for the repose of his soul. And I don't like the sensationalizing, but of course the paper carried it that the present governor, because Lucky Aiyedatiwa was immediately sworn in as governor, same day he died, his death was announced. And they said he was absent at the prayer, but they organized the prayer at his country home in Owo, from his hometown where he's from. His sister represented his family. Some of his party members were there, chairman of the APC in Ondo, former special advisor to the late governor on special duties, union matters, and ex-commissioner for infrastructure, lands and housing, and other House of Assembly members representing the Owo constituencies were there as well. A lot of other people on his side were there. Prayers were led by Reverend Canon S.B. Oladimeji, and they of course prayed for his soul. But Aiyedatiwa's spokesperson had to respond that they were not absent because of overlooking or disregarding of the late governor's person, but they were not invited, and the prayer was not a state affair. It was just organized by close relations and all of that.
Okay.
Yes, so I have the major headline. Yesterday I had taken the story where I said the CEO of NSIPA, Halima Shehu, had been arrested and being interrogated by the EFCC concerning scam and monies that had been moved from the agency's accounts into various private accounts. And they said that the director of the agency, Director of Finance and Accounts, Mr. Adamu Hamza, is also being interrogated by the EFCC. And also remember that the former Minister for Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management had been called in for interrogation, but they said that she didn't show up until the close of business yesterday. And so this may mean that a warrant for arrest may be put out, and declared, until she shows up. And her own interrogations for her is concerning the over 37 billion naira that passed through her agency and through a contractor during that time. So anyway, concerning Halima Shehu, they said that the EFCC tracking the movements of cash, they said, so it was a 44 billion naira issue. They were able to track it first, and they got 17 billion, 17 billion, and then later an additional 13 billion was traced to different private and corporate accounts. And so the investigation is still going on, and we'll see how that pans out.
And she had that contractor,
Okwete, that's with the minister now. That's the Minister for Humanitarian Affairs. He's the one, that's a different case. This is NSIPA. It's also a different case. But she had worked with the minister as well. I think everything is just tying everyone together. So it will be interesting to find out who the owners of the various accounts that they found these monies
belongs to. So there's controversy over the plans to relocate the ex-Sierra Leonean president by Koroma to Nigeria today. In a statement yesterday by the ECOWAS Commission President Omar Aliu Toure, indicated that the move to relocate Koroma followed an agreement reached by ECOWAS in Freetown back in December 2023. So 2003. 2023. So, according to Toure, Nigeria has accepted to host the former president, who actually was charged for treason and 4 counts of attempted coup in his country, and he has been on house arrest. He had been the president for 11 years, and it was on house arrest in his country. And Nigeria has accepted to temporarily relocate him, host him here in Abuja. Says he's pleased to inform Your Excellency that as part of the arrangements during the mission, His Excellency Karuma, former president, will be moving to Nigeria today. That's January 4th, on a temporary basis, subject to obviously approval. But many people are objecting to this move, saying that he should be left in Sierra Leone to continue his sentence under house arrest, that he was not, instead of moving him to safety.
No, he hasn't been sentenced yet. He's under house because he's been charged.
Yes.
Anyway, grief. The people of Undu, Tangod, town in Boko's local government in Plateau State have been thrown into grief again because their imam, their chief imam, Mohammed Idris, went to with his brother and an Okada to go and retrieve some of the goods that they had to leave behind when they were fleeing. And then they were attacked. He was killed. His brother was macheted, and their Okada man, I think, they didn't say if he was killed.
It means they are still there. The terrorists are still there.
They must still be around. They said the Okada rider Mohammed Gambo was killed while bringing a passenger to the area. So the Okada rider was killed as well, the imam, and then the brother was macheted, you know, and the senator is lamenting that they have to put military there. It's
I don't know,
do we need to tell government to put military there? By now, that area that, you know, the butchering and killing happened, should have been taken over by military. Should have been.
I don't know, because
we need to find a whole day to discuss this matter, because there's so many
our producers
factors. They're working on it. Yeah, there are many factors, many layers to this conversation that we really need to iron out. Let's move on to Punch. APC promises heavy defeat as Atiku eyes 2027 presidential bid. FG eyes 750,000 jobs with gas initiative. No plan to hike fuel price. NNPCL assures Nigerians. Police returns to rescue trafficked children to Bauchi. Mother of quadruplets held in Delta Hospital over 4 million naira bill. President will return Bayelsa oil field taken under Buhari, says Minister. Obasanjo fought 88 trillion naira debt burden, says relief mismanaged. FG to withdraw recognition of Kenya, Uganda, and Niger universities. And EFC threatens Buhari ex-minister's arrest over 37 billion naira fraud. Okay, which story?
So I have the...
Yes, I have the picture story. Okay. So you can see little children with the governor of Bauchi State. They were kidnapped and had been trafficked to Kano, and they were rescued and taken back home. The governor, of course, was happy to receive them, and also a pledge of ₦1 million donation each to support the education of the children. So, but the Kano State Police Command, you know, giving us an update of what happened, says 9 suspects have been arrested or They allegedly specialize in inter-trafficking, abduction, buying and selling of minors. Yeah, we're talking about tomatoes. Human children is what they sell, traffic and sell across states. They said that they have like a syndicate, a trafficking syndicate. They're hibernating around Kano, Bauchi, Gombe, Lagos, Delta, Anambra, and Imo states. And they were these syndicates were identified and they were dismantled. So it took them a long period of intelligence-led investigation, and that was how they were able to get these people. But the governor is also asking parents not to take revenge. So it seems that there are many parents that are truly upset and may want to take laws into their hands. Just let's follow the rule of law, and everything will be sorted out. And
do you remember that?
There's a video.
Okay, we have to go on a short break, Mikey. When we come back, we continue the conversation on paper. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view.
Ikechukwu, Sunday, Okonkwo, aka Cross. Now your intro without
Wow.
So there's a name that thing that's.
I'm just drinking because you say I should drink. There's no particular answer.
You think it's only that can be wicked? Okay.
What's the answer?
Subterfuge.
Eh?
Yeah. They claim you did, but you said it just happened. That
And it's
you
called
did.
what again?
Subterfuge.
Such a feud.
Subterfuge.
So you look me finish from head to toe. You look at a person who go know what to become for such. Yeah?
The nude wasn't like a game plan. Or...
I promise you,
Bec-
it was
bec-
actually me.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw ether material slabbed, stroked, and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move weigh in the struggle of want.
Ikechukwu, Sunday, Okonkwo, aka Cross. Now your intro without
Wow.
So there's a name that thing that's.
I'm just drinking because you said I should drink. There's no particular answer. Okay.
I think it's only that can be wicked. Okay.
What's the answer?
Subterfuge.
Eh?
Yeah. They claim you did.
Bonus for 6 months and double data bonus on your first recharge of the month.
Get a new SIM or dial *1 400# now.
9 Mobile.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing the papers. Let me take a story in the Punch. So NNPCL is saying that there's no plan to hike fuel price, according to the Chief Corporate Communications Officer, Olufemi Shuneye, said in a statement that Nigerians should disregard rumors of a possible hike in fuel price. The oil firm further urged not to get involved in panic, as it stressed that the company had no plans to raise the cost of the product. So many rumors on social media, people passing all sort of information, confusing Nigerians. They're saying that, listen, there are no plans to hike fuel price. Urging Nigerians to disregard the unfounded rumors and assures them that there are no plans. Some Nigerians had expressed fear following the revelation by the oil marketers that the cost of price might be capped at 1,200 naira to the litre if it was not being subsidized, considering the cost of commodity in the other climes.
Yeah. I was going to take the story of the mother. She'd been waiting in Delta State, she'd been waiting for a baby for 12 years. When she now got pregnant, it was quadruplets. And she gave birth to them on the 21st of October 2023, but they were premature. So they were in an incubator. And they were there from October till now. And each day is 20,000 per baby, so 80,000 a day. So her bill became 5,598,050 naira. It could only pay 1,998,000. The hospital have detained them, pay the bill. So they are appealing to Nigerians to please come to her aid. Let this thing of joy continue to be a thing of joy. Someone spoke on behalf of the family. The hospital is the Coastal Clinic. They put their address. I guess I can't put their address.
You know, it's just interesting that we say this all the time. When you have kind of babies or something happen, people go online. There has to be some kind of a foundation that supports people like this. There's got to be
menu.
I think government should support. I think government supports people.
They usually
with
do,
births,
actually, but it's until you have them come out.
Then Delta State, the father is from Edo State, but they belong to a church. So I'm wondering why the church itself
usually support. I'm sure the church
maybe
they
gave
so
them,
much.
You know, they said they've paid 1 million.
Yeah,
probably
so
the church may have helped
put money
that
together.
Oh, and also, you know, you don't plan when you have to put your babies in incubator. You don't. Most times when mothers are pregnant, nobody plans for.
That kind of thing.
A preterm birth is very expensive.
Yeah.
At one time, it was 80,000 per day in Lagos. So
I'm
10,000 per
even
day.
more worried that there are more people like this. Their stories not getting to the papers. Who's helping those? So to be a system to help Nigerians. Like, it's like, not just onto you, so you get to the papers.
Can I say the name of the hospital in case people want to go and help?
You can go
It's Coastal Specialist Clinic, number 39, 19th Street,
Okay.
Bendel Estate, Warri, Delta State.
There are good and bad people who listen to this stuff. You know, people
No.
kidnapping children all the time. So
It's only good people.
you
think?
Let's just
I have the 750.
What we hope is government people will go and check it out and help her.
I have the 750,000 jobs. So the project director, the CEO of the Presidential Compressed Natural Gas Initiative, Michael Oluwagbemi, said that the federal government plans to create 750,000 jobs by 2027 through the gas initiative. He was speaking at the PCNGI First Stakeholders Investors Forum, where he talked about how the government, of course, is looking to establish 40,000 auto gas conversion workshops and the creation of 750,000 jobs across the country by 2027. He says that they are looking to convert 6 million commercial vehicles through the CNG ecosystem. Of course, gas is what we have. He said this would, of course, help with diverting from payment of subsidy. Gas is what we have in abundance. The initiative, we don't need to subsidize or buy imported petrol. We have our own gas here, and the 6 million commercial buses are also our own. And if we dive into commercial opportunities, we'll bring down the cost of transportation, and the average Nigerian's life will be better. So it will reduce not just cost of transportation for the common man, but it will also ensure that gas works for Nigeria and gives Nigeria an economic advantage. So I'm hoping that this is not just talk shop. 2027 is a bit far, but not too far. So hopefully we'll have good news by then.
Okay, moving on now to Daily Sun. Tension over feared plan to hike fuel price. Minimum wage, TUC urges federal government to implement agreement with Labour in 2023. No apologies backing Governor Diri's re-election, says Jonathan. Coming generation will bear burden of Nigeria's huge debt, Basanjo warns. War extends beyond Gaza as Hamas leader is killed in Beirut. Gunmen attack Abuja suburb. Lafia supermarket kill 4, injure 2 policemen. Prioritize forex allocation, cut number of bureau de change, MEN tells federal government. And degree mills, report of probe will be ready in 3 months, Education Minister says. Okay.
Yes, I have that. The Minister of Education, Tahir Mamman, has said the report of the investigation into the operations of degree mills in the country will be ready and made public in 3 months. He said, of course, we know that this is on the back of the investigative journalists that had gone and uncovered the scam happening in Benin Republic and also Togo. He says that I assure you that they have set up a committee that will be investigating this and that they will start work immediately. They understand that there are innocent people that may be affected by this delay and suspension while the investigation is going on, and so they will try and be, quick about it so that those people are not even further delayed. But the committee is on it, and in a very short time, we'll hear the report of their sitting.
Okay, so the TUC, First Ososifo of the TUC, that's the president of the TUC, he signed a New Year's message where he says, our hope not renewed yet. He's asking the federal government to implement the agreement they have with Labour that they had on October 2nd. They said they had promised in that agreement that a minimum wage committee will be inaugurated within a month from the signing of that agreement. And 3 months after, no such committee has been set up. It said they've also resolved that the administration of President Tinubu must, implement all agreements between them and Labour. He said the payment of the 35,000 wage award to public servants in local government, state and federal services must also be done, which he says they have not been done. He also said that they must reduce inflation, which is now running in our country at 28.20%, drastically to the sub-Saharan regional average of 9.4%, and a lot of other demands that they are making. Labour is also looking at starting some form of strike. We don't need to add that to what we are experiencing right now. He also talked about the lack of cash, stoppage of sale of they should stop the sale of naira from due to the streets, due to the federal bank increase situation. So those additional hardship that is bringing should be addressed as well.
Okay, so our former president Olusegun Obasanjo has said financial impropriety by previous governments had forced Nigeria into debt burden. The coming generation would have no option but to pay this huge indebtedness. According to his media aide, Mr. Kehinde Akinyemi, the former president made the observation during the meeting he had attended, hosted by Pastor Chris Oyakilome. He said that the level of mismanagement in the previous debts written off for the country, it will be almost impossible for any administration to get similar gesture in the continent. Obasanjo declared that the debts were a trap that no individual or country should have never ever gotten into in the first place. It becomes an albatross on any economy. He said leadership was the #1 problem facing Africa, and that the coming generation will have no choice but to have to pay all the huge debts incurred by our continent.
So gunmen, they attacked a popular supermarket in Nasarawa, Karu local government, and they killed 4 people. They came in and they started robbing people. When they finished, people started running and trying to escape. They started to shoot sporadically, and they killed 4 people. The police, the Nasarawa Police Public Relations has confirmed the attack, said that there were 4 gunmen, and they killed 4 customers in the process. The customers have been taken to the hospital, the Maraba Medical Center, and they've been confirmed dead. Wow. They said they are investigating.
So to go to supermarket now is...
Vanguard, Spanish story not taking. No plan to increase. Governor Aiyedatiwa suspends council caretaker committee chairman. And Naira scarcity devaluation, rising inflation, TUC tells FG. And no apology for backing Diri's re-election, says Jonathan. Any story there? Or should we rush to it?
So I have the Aiyedatiwa governor, Aiyedatiwa, of course, following the court order. He insisted that is following the ruling that the court made when the PDP filed a petition restraining former late governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu from inaugurating a caretaker committee for local government and LCDAs within Ondo State. And so he has suspended all caretaker committee secretaries and local government heads of all LCDAs and the local government within Ondo State.
Final paper, the Nigerian Tribune, let's finish to not taking. Nigerian art student breaks Guinness World Record with 100-hour painting. Ondo government suspend local government and LCDA chairman. Seplat Energy announces annual gas plant and mechanical completion. Fan keeps mum 7 months after thieves carted away with Lagos airport cables. 2024 budget, National Assembly gets highest allocation in 25 years. I have no apology for backing Diri's re-election, says Jonathan. Let me take that story. So, former President Goodluck Jonathan has said that he owed no one any apologies for supporting the re-election of Governor Diri of Bayelsa State in the off-cycle governorship poll that happened in November. He said that it was the right thing to do, as Governor Diri had the support of majority of Bayelsa people to continue in the office. His wife was also there, Dim. Patient Jonathan was also there to receive guests on the entourage when he was saying this in his house. I said, you know, I did what I did during the governorship elections, and I have no apologies to anybody because I know that the governor and his team were doing well, especially in the area of peace, stability of the state. At that time, I became very worried. Okay, that's all we can take. Any story?
I have Nigerian
have fun. I have fun.
Go ahead.
So remember months ago, instrument landing systems that were installed on the international runway. The runway of the international airport were stolen. They were carted away. And, you know, a committee was set to look into it. And they said since the committee sat and gave the report, nothing has been heard about who did it and what has been done to them. They said that about some people were immediately suspended, staff or fan, because that could not have happened without the involvement of some staff members. And they're saying that we still haven't heard anything about it. Planes are having to use the domestic airports to land, and they say that what if something happens now and that one is closed off, and we know how important Lagos is, and that this is a health, safety and security issue, and not to have closure on that incident is very telling of, you know, our airspace. And so this is something that they have to think.
They have also said it's 98% finished.
We have to go on a break, unfortunately. That's all we can take on from Page Review. When we come back, we'll continue with the show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Your View will be right back.
Ikechukwu, Sunday, Okonkwo, aka Cross. Now your intro without
Wow.
So there's a name that thing that's.
I'm just drinking because you say I should drink. There's no particular answer.
I think it's only that can be wicked.
What's the answer?
Subterfuge.
Eh?
Yeah. They claim you did, but you said it just happened. That
And it's called what again?
Subterfuge.
Such a fuge.
Subterfuge.
So you look me finish from head to toe. You look at a person who go know what to become such. Yeah?
The nude wasn't like a game plan. Or...
I promise you, it was actually me.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw ether material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Do you think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly. How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table. So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least,
Thanks for staying with us. So today is Thursday, and on Thursdays we love to discuss family, life, relationships, and lifestyle issues. So we saw an interesting story online that caught our attention about a young lady who gave us a bit of story about her, how she got pregnant for her. I think at the time he was her boyfriend at the time, and then they wanted to legalize the union. And the guy only agreed to an introduction. He refused to marry her properly. You know, he refused to have a proper legal wedding for her, a white wedding, the whole works. He just preferred the traditional wedding. And her family begged him, she begged him, she cried. She was trying to get him to agree. He always just continually refused. Anyways, fast forward, I think after 9 years, they had 3 children. And her company had moved her to Texas. She got a job in Texas. And she was doing very well. His business wasn't doing so well. And now he's ready to relocate, obviously, because she's doing well. But there's no legal document that says they're married. Now he's asking her to get married properly. And her family is saying, if you try it, I will disown you. Because her father, the whole family had begged him at the time to legalize things, but he just refused to at the time. Now she's not asking what should she do. Some are saying that, listen, he's the father of 3 of your children, like, forgive him. Yes, maybe it's a time of ignorance or foolishness, forgive him. Others are saying, vengeance is sweet in this kind of situation. Don't bother. So she's asking for advice, and many people have advice, but you know, no matter how much you advise, until your view advises you, you don't hear that advice. You can call us on 081-764-1679, 09024163440. You can also tweet to us at TVC Entertainment using the hashtag Yourviewtvc on TVC so we can read your tweets. Who do I start with? Mariam, you want to go first?
For me, that man is just an opportunist. That's it. He's not about a man who did something when he was younger and he was foolish. This is a man that waited until he realized that, you know, she had the upper hand and wanted to get in on it. All the years that they had been married, he did not rethink his ways after the first child. He didn't rethink his ways after, you know, all the subsequent children until he found that she was financially empowered and much more than he is. And now he wants to cash in on it and realizing that the only way he can do that is to be legally attached to her. So that she even stayed with him as long as she did. She's a strong woman, knowing and then now proving to her. So at first, for me, it will be that in all this time, she may have just accepted, okay, maybe he's not into marriage like that. He just likes being together. But now, now that he's insisting on legally marrying her, then she understands that the whole of the time that she spent with him was for nothing. He just didn't love her. I think he's making it even more clear now that he never loved her. And he was never, you know, he maybe just felt that he had to be there because there was a child involved. And so I would advise her, just keep the relationship as it is. Whatever you can do for him from where you are, please do it. But this man, if he gets there and then circumstances change again, he's going to change. Okay. Because what should be constant is his love for her or his lack of love for her. So that will continue to determine how he treats her.
But you see, when a man comes from a background where he has seen how that document called marriage certificate has destroyed homes, where the woman has some kind of legal authority to do certain things, or the man has legal, you know, some people are coming from different backgrounds. He could have experienced something. Maybe his stepmother took everything that his father maybe left for him. Because maybe his mother was the second wife, for example, and the first wife, because she had a legal document like that, squandered or took all the father's property. He was left with nothing. He grew up by himself. People are coming from different backgrounds. Not everybody believes in that document called marriage certificate. They believe once I do traditional, it's fine. And people always get warned, well, don't go and do marriage. I mean, I remember many men in Nigeria always been advised, don't go and do marriage, or whatever you do, don't go and put that document, because once you do that, she's bound to you forever, and everything you own belongs to her. So some men have that background, and it's not as if they don't love you, because for him to have 3 children with you and stay with you, obviously there's some kind of a connection, but he's just probably afraid of that document. Now that it has become necessary for him to
the document has become beneficial to him. So thank you for coming. After you but you now came back home, you know. So sadly, if she had not been pregnant for him, there would be no marriage. There would be no relationship with her. He didn't want her. He just, you know those gunshot weddings and what they call it. That's the kind of arrangement he had. You were pregnant, so let me honor you. And she wanted to be honored. Her family insisted, cover her up as Ebola Shiri, that kind of thing. You know, make an honest woman out of her, but he refused and demanded on his terms. And so if he has a right to do things on his terms as an adult, she has a right to do things on her terms as an adult. Sadly, this situation is common because a lot of men believe marriage is a thing of honor to women, not to them. Sadly, it's a common... I'm dealing with someone very close to me right now who's dealing with this kind of thing. The necessary thing a man should do for you, he should do, which includes marrying the woman as our culture demands when you love her. But some men will now say, I will not until the way I want it done. At the time you're marrying a woman, remember that you're also rewarding her family for the kind of child they've raised. The way you talk to her family, the way you treat her family, the way you disregard her family. A girl I know whose father just passed is just finding out that her husband has no respect for whoever is left. He's saying, there's no man in your house that I can talk to. And a lot of things her eyes are opening up to is she's constantly being disregarded. And he says to her, there's really no man. She wants to cry to someone, but she's thinking he doesn't respect other family members. And it's not a good place to be. So our culture also says honor the family of the girl. By the time you're telling the family how you will marry their daughter, I don't understand. The disregard is a lot. We know family at their least bring some excesses. But the first thing is that when you talk to the father, you ask, what do I need to do? I appreciate your work. I want to marry somebody you've raised well. And whatever you need me to do, I will do it. If it's too much, you'll be negotiating for a woman you love, not that you'll be disregarding all family. Right. But now table don't come turn. Because you don't think that a human being can bring you any advantage. A woman that's bet 1, 2, 3 children for you has already brought you an advantage. And you didn't at any point in time when the kids were being born think to honor her until a visa and a job opportunity is attached to you. But, you're simply a gold digger.
Let me come to YK because women are often, and I'm trying to see from a woman's perspective. You have all these counselors in church, family members. Listen, at least he shall marry you. At least they start doing introduction. At least they've done engagement. That is enough. What are you stressing yourself? Why are you killing yourself? There are no men out there. This one has agreed to stay with you. The only problem is he doesn't want documents. What is your problem? Because I'm sure people like that, maybe her father insisted, but there'll be ears, voices in her ears, across but saying, listen, maybe it's just an introduction. Like this is just a marriage. At least that one in our culture is recognized. Don't worry about it. And I know a lot of women have that situation. So it's not as if she just entered that marriage knowing that at least he loves me.
It wasn't a marriage, remember?
Yeah, it's the traditional. Well,
Okay.
for her, family know each other and we are confident. Yeah. So for her, many people would have told her, at least you have this one.
Thank God.
Should she have compromised? That's the word. Should she have accepted? Because many women will be in that situation tomorrow, where the man is insisting, sorry, oh, I don't want documents. My family, we don't do documents in our family. We've done traditional and we are fine.
You know, first of all, I just want to say, traditional marriages, to me, are actually legal. Yes. They are actually legal.
Recognized by court.
And they are recognized, you know. And to dissolve them, you need to either return the yam or so. They are legal. But that paper is the one that seals your fate. Oh, yeah? You are locked in here.
Brings on the statute. Maybe
the guy didn't want to be locked in. He wanted an easy way to escape. When the chips were down, if he needed to escape, maybe it's just to return the yam. But this one, now, his own matter now has become what they call poetic justice.
Yep.
I don't see, I mean, you did it the easy way. You married, because for me, traditional is legal. But in the courts, in the embassy that you are going to, is that paper where you sign that they need.
Okay.
You know?
The story of escape just reminded me of somebody's experience. So a couple had been married, they married very poor. Their dream was find a way to America, and so that they would blow. And so the woman put some money together with the man, went to family, borrowed, and sent the man abroad. And the moment he landed, I would block her. She had 3 children for him in Nigeria at the time. So he blocked her and said she was going to be a distraction if he continued the link, so because she'll be asking for money. He needed to settle down first. So he left. But before he left, they were also trying to do that visa lottery thing that was popular then. And she had played one that year he left, but she couldn't play it with him. And when he got there, when he blocked her, over time, she just heard that she won, the ones that she had played. So she raised money quietly, not involving his family again, and found her way to the US with 3 children. As she was landing in America, whatever happened, he was deported. And so they held family meeting that he was trying to reach his wife, that she's a wife. How can you be like this? He's your husband. The first thing you should do as you're getting there is to find a way to bring him there, because now you have paper to stay. And the woman was like, I've been blocked. I don't need to talk to him. So she was pressured, family, her own family, she brought him back there. And then he now came with a story at one family meeting, how she was hostile to him, how she never submitted, that when she got to America, she became empowered. Nobody heard the other background story of how she was treated. But the story that was popularized was how she was a terrible woman. Even me, I didn't bought it.
She still brought him over.
She brought him over, but she just didn't want to have anything to do with him. And he called it, he said she will not have sex with him, she will not have this. He called it, they named it names. They called her feminine, they called her a lot of evil names that I thought that was true until I heard
so
it.
I think, this goes back to what you said earlier about the way some men see marriage as it just honoring the woman and they doing the woman a favor. So that's why you hear somebody say, if you do now, just send you packing back to Jos. Some people tell you, I'll send you back to Jos, as if, you know, if not because of them, you'd have come to Lagos. It's them that brought you to Lagos, you know. So when people view marriage that way, there is, you know, they always feel like they're at an advantage. And that's why in the Bible it says that when the man finds a wife, finds a good thing. So even God recognizes that it brings blessing to you as well. And, you know, sometimes you marry someone at the, you know, maybe they're much younger or they don't have a lot of resources. Then over time, as you're growing, you find that the tables turn. But the way you have treated each other during the marriage will determine how that person treats you back. This man has made it clear to this woman that she's not so important to him that he's willing to go the extra mile. If he is the sort of person, as YK says, that does not want to be locked in, then why does he want to be locked in now? No. It will even be harder now.
It's convenient.
Yeah, so it's not about It's not about
means to an end.
That's it.
I don't want to be locked in either.
Yeah.
It's a means to an end.
Yeah.
I need that document.
That's the same thing I'm saying. Why would for every decision you make, it has its consequences.
For the sake of the fact that he's the father of my children, I want to be on. I have to be the.
No problem. We get
your children need the gold digger father.
He is the father of my children. Can I forgive him?
No, what I'm saying is that you are the father of the children before this visa issue came up.
Yes,
Why wasn't as the father of the children to give these children a home that honors them better? Why did you not do that? Why does going abroad and the finances and her finances being better be the reason why now you want to do something better? This is not a man that has the best interest of the woman at heart. It's not about the children. It's about him. It's that it's convenient now. Now it pays me more because the situation has not changed. It's still the same woman and 3 children.
So we have customs, so, maybe the family requires certain customs. Like if at a burial, some people will say certain rites have not been done over a woman, so our husband who should traditionally partake in burial of our parents, will not be able to partake. And you'll be required to do it. Imagine that you're now at that point just finding out you didn't do then. You're now wanting her to do for you what you were not willing to do for her. And for her father to demand certain things of you at the point you married her is because he would have made him honored as a father. And you didn't think she was deserving of that. You didn't think your kids deserve that. Some girls cannot be made to marry if the yams of their mothers have not been completed in tradition. So, like I have my daughter now, if, for instance, my traditional rites had not been completed, at the wedding of my daughter, my husband cannot receive that of his child until they complete my own. So imagine all those things. Tradition is deep. Then you did not do for your child. You didn't do for your wife, for her father. You didn't do for your child at any point. He no shame you, but you can't be in need. I want it to be.
The Edo people, their traditions are very
even Igbo people, I think, let me not use their names, but Igbo people, they would have been married many years, and then maybe something happens, maybe the husband dies or the wife dies, then they will say, you cannot bury this person here because you did not do one thing. Well, you married in church.
And you won't believe he was remembered.
The registry, but because you did not perform the traditional rites. So it's a way to honor the person, so that a time will come and there's no issue like this. Honor the person. If you love the person, show them that you honor. If you know you don't love them, that's a way to show that you don't.
What's happened, what's been done has been done. What has happened. So should she now abandon living in Nigeria?
Is it abandon?
She's working
now.
She's moving on.
So she should come and visit. Did not say they cannot visit now.
No. For his papers to.
I know that marriage we can't marry it again. I know.
I'm disappointed in you people.
Wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind, or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw ether material slabbed, stroked, and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Ikechukwu Sunday Okonkwo, aka Cross. Now your intro without
Wow.
So there's a name that thing that's.
I'm just drinking because you say I should drink. There's no particular answer.
I think it's only that can be wicked.
What's the answer?
Subterfuge.
Eh?
Yeah. They claim you did, but you said it just happened. That
And it's called what again?
Subterfuge.
Such a fuge.
Subterfuge.
So you look me finish from head to toe. You look at a person who go know what to become such. Yeah?
The nude wasn't like a game plan. Or...
I promise you, it was actually.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs. Right here, within this beautiful cocktail, we call the black table. So,
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw ether material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing Thursday marriage life and lifestyle. So there's another story caught our attention. A Nigerian man pens down some list for his wife to be in 2024. According to him, she must be respectful, humble, and easy to forgive. You must know how to make it at least a prayer a day for us. No arguments, no shouting, no quarrels. Say what's your opinion, but if I insist, leave it like that. Learn how to encourage me and try to be content. Have an idea on wearing heels. If not, there are places you cannot follow me to. An experience in trekking, at least you can trek 1 kilometer with no complaints because I never get moto. Know how to cook and be willing to cook. And finally, be a giver and lover of people. Now, Men have said, listen, what he's asking is not too much. This is only, unless you want to put a feminist lens. Others are saying, this man is not ready for marriage. Oh. They obviously, you can find another woman somewhere else. What are your thoughts on this? Because what was most shocking to me was the age of this man. This is a young Nigerian, probably in his mid-30s. This is probably early 30s, mid-30s max. And for a man like this to think like this, it means that you've been for the past 10 years, you've not done anything, you've not even started work. Like we try to reorientate, but maybe we are asking for too much. Maybe the Nigerian man is set in a certain way that there's nothing can change his ways. Because when you see some of this, you think to yourself, okay, do we still have men thinking this way, or is he within his right to think this way? Should he continue? Is this normal? Because many of us have accepted this way of life. What are your own thoughts? Nima, let me start with you this time around.
He's a daddy-wa kind of man. And I would ask every young girl to jump and pass. So in marriage and in love, that's setting everything that you do, because you do it in love, they're not an item list.
It happens naturally.
Women do them with love. But you know, some men will say, my mother did XXX. So these are the lists that you must conform with. They set a standard way above you that forces some form of hardship for you to qualify as a good woman. So the more you can take, the better woman you are. They will dish it plenty, the better woman you can then be called. But you will never get called. So you're in a narcissistic environment and you will need to do more. But this kind of person, you would never really earn that love if you think working towards it or meeting that list. They are controlling, manipulative. They say, Shebi, before I married you, I told you. So I always talk about some cases I handled where a man met a girl. By the time I met them, the marriage was crashing at 15 years plus. And when he met her, she was from a very rich political background. He did not tell her anything. He married her and said she wasn't a good woman. And so while she was in that marriage, that was the standard of abuse, because he wanted to be the kind of woman he wanted. And we didn't know that when doors were closed, she was told how badly behaved she was, pampered, your parents did not raise you well, and so, and so. So God continued to bless this man. Maybe for whatever reason, she kept praying for him. And he became wealthy. And the hardship increased. It wasn't about money or resources. He wanted her to suffer that hardship. By the time I met them, he arrested the wife for buying a car. He said that, as my wife, they live in a mansion, but he wants the wife to take public buses, to qualify as a good woman, not because of lack of resources. He used to say to her, you are sport, they sport you. What is wrong in taking buses? She said, but privately, I get faster to school, to pick the kid, I get faster. And he said, I have a car in the house, but you can't drive the car. You can only drive, he fuels the car exactly for school bus runs. So if the fuel increases higher than, she say you bought fuel because you went to greet your friend. If she has a place to go and she thinks, oh no, I don't want to go there. I told you to take public transport to that place and it must not be taxi.
When I hear some of these stories, Nigerian women are trying.
Morayo, let me tell you the funny thing. When I met this woman in 2019, I thought she was a mad poor girl. When her family now took her back and I saw her, she came to my office. She was cleanly. I said, I didn't know you were this beautiful. She looked mad when I met her. So I had that first image of her like that. I didn't know she was such a beautiful person. But the standard she was being pushed to. In fact, one of the experiences she had, they were crossing over to the New Year and she went to go and buy turkey to cook for her kids. He says, what is wrong with you people drinking gari just to that day? I say you are still spoilt. So he has an issue with softness, with good life. It's not about wealth. So be careful about this kind of
personally, I don't have a problem with people having standards and having a spec. It's important. It's just that the intention behind your standard and spec should come from an honest place, a place that you want to see that person that you're looking to live with, also flourish. There's also something about writing down a list and someone looking at your list. It may, because of context, it may seem harsh. But in the, last time we discussed about sons getting married to some people, and I'd mentioned something about standard. I would encourage people to have standards, although maybe my list will be different and the sort of things I would say to people to put will be a bit different. And I would like it, and I would say it should highlight more character. Is this person a hardworking person? an honest person, a kind person, those sort of things is what I expect. But this person is being very, you know, specific. So he says, you must have experience in trekking because we have to go out to preach, and I don't have a car yet. So he's not saying I will never buy a car, we would never, but now, see, I am a preacher. I go from place to place to preach. This may be a tough lifestyle for someone who has not ever had any experience in that kind of, you know, life and may find it difficult. So this is who I am. So are you sure you're, no, that's that's how I'm looking at it with a bit of positive spin on it. I don't want to think that it's come from a bad place. It may just be English, you know, and the way it's being put, and seeing that is a list. Then we have that, have an idea wearing heels. Now, Oga, I hope you're not expecting to trek in the hills.
Miriam, no, I don't like that place you went. Because I was going to wait now. You went and took the trekking.
Yes.
And say because you did not have a car.
Yes.
But you now came back to the hills. This guy expects her to meet standards even in her hardship.
We'll get there.
No, you are going to trek in hills. That's the information.
Okay.
And I don't have a car yet.
Yeah.
You are going to wear heels if you must accompany me to certain places.
Okay.
But
So
you are going to trek in those hills because I don't have a car yet. This is a clear.
Okay.
This kind of person jump and pass.
So this is where I was saying there are two things.
Marriage.
It's good to have a standard, it's good to have spec, and good to be specific. And then we need to also understand from where it's coming from. And now I'm just talking about the list itself, how it looks. Looking at it is not a bad thing. There's nothing wrong with being respectful and humble and looking for someone like that.
No, those are
you know, there's nothing wrong with being prayerful. You know, there are some people, there are some of us, prayer is something that we eventually learned to do, you know. But there, you know, my friends, when we were younger, they understood praying and fasting and going for a night vigil. And the sort of men that approached them were those sort of people that appreciated that sort of lifestyle. So if you look at it, you know, on its own, I don't think it's such a bad idea. Also, for the people that may be looking at it, makes it easy for you to tell from the beginning if this is the person for me and not. Because I'm always talking about mixed messaging, you know, with people when they're in relationships with, I don't know what he means, he says here, he says there. Now you know exactly who this man is. Now, to question what Nima is coming from, because of the way he's worded some things, you have heels, be sure that you accompany me to places. If I insist, leave it like that. Now, for me, this is a controlling person. This particular person.
An average Nigerian man.
Let me take Dawood. That will not work for someone like me.
I'll come back to this. Dawood, thanks for calling.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
I'm calling from Aushi, Edo State. And to my sister there, hello, Mao.
Hello. We are more.
Okay.
That's good. I want to speak on the last topic.
Yes, go ahead. You're live.
I am married with 2 kids, and my family, my in-laws, they have never got any issue about anything concerning court certificates and co. And my wife will never mention it. She's a graduate from Univer. We are educated. But the issue is we don't see, although you have to pay for divorce, in case of the cases. But I think it's a way where people, when talking about this certificate, people use it in a way to blackmail me. It's very gender. It's not about love. I love my wife so much. I love my kids. I will never want to divorce. But to see that because I have not done that, I collected certificates from the mosques when we are doing the traditional wedding. That is enough. If we have reason to travel to maybe Hajj or anywhere, we need that one. It's not about love. So I want to make that correction. It's not about love at all. You can love your family and don't do that. Good morning.
You see, this part of when we have an argument, whatever your husband says, just allow, just let it be, because he has a final say. It happens in a lot of homes. And it is not foreign to many women. Because a lot of men have also been raised to feel as if, listen, you are the head of the house and you have the final say. So when he says that, if you have an opinion, if you are arguing, if once I insist, leave it, is he speaking out of the ordinary?
No, it's not. Well, what Nigerian men don't have is that when we have the final consequence, it's you who are the final say. If you are the final consequence, you now be telling the woman you are not supportive. if I did not take ownership of a decision we made, we didn't make it. It's you who made it. And I don't want to suffer the consequence of it. And then maybe I buffer myself. Or I now, at the point when the consequence is now dropping, I'll be like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to suffer this. I'm now being judged as not a good woman. That's why the two heads must come, so that one person, the other person can own the consequence. Sometimes, maybe let's talk about an investment, for instance. I want to buy this thing now. And the husband insists, no, we don't need it. And the wife says, okay, because peace should reign. And then when finally hosting guests, and they be like, oh, this place is fine now, let's just leave this one, and then they come and put their money here. The man is not saying the woman should bear the hardship, and the woman is saying, I don't want to bear that suffer, that the lack of this cost. You are now saying she didn't own that decision with you. If she must own it with you, she must put input in reaching the decision with you. It's just too basic. This one is not Quran, Bible, or anything. This is basic common sense. Because two adults usually marry, 18 above. You know, two adults usually marry, but you say no because you were raised to be the decision maker. No problem. Take all your decisions, but the consequence of it, can you take it?
Well, you see, and there's a story of a man that he was raised with corporal punishment. His father used to beat him, his teacher. That's all he knows. Now, he's married to a modern woman, and he beats the children, like, terribly. And the woman is insisting, you can't touch my child, because there are better ways of raising this child. And he's insisting that I have the final say. I am the father. There's nothing. Every other thing, I can let you do. But these children raised, I will beat them. There's nothing you can do about it. Now, maybe the woman wants to accept, okay, he beats the children, but sometimes the children come with scars. They are crying to the mother, and she's having to nurse these children. She's constantly having to help them, and it hurts her spirit, her soul, that she has to constantly, because this man beats them to stupor. So in that situation, I have the final. I'm the head of the house. I have the final say. What does a woman do? Do I keep watching your children being beaten like this every
single
time?
She should put her foot down and say, "Scum, I will report you to child."
I suppose, yes. It's a common thing.
Because if
child support in Nigeria,
there is now.
Yes. For beating.
In Lagos State, there is.
Not for beating. They won't really.
They will. If they are coming out with scars, then you have passed. You have crossed the threshold of reasonability. Yes. Anyway, this guy that wants to marry this year, is the comments that I'm just sitting here and I'm laughing.
Please go ahead, Mike.
Says, thank God I know they wear his. Thank God to say, I get coconut head. May we never cross paths in Jesus' name. Another one says, it's always folks at the end of the food chain that feel like they are the prize. Another one says, is that all of him? There is, or there is more at home, which is chaplain.
We don't want to have a list.
Get out.
No,
so we should have comments. But I am reading the comments and I'm laughing because Mura, you had a list.
I had a list. Yes. I was going to say that. I had a list. And I'm just thinking to myself, if I had brought out my list, maybe people would have yabbed me.
Yeah, without context.
Because they don't understand where I'm coming from and don't understand the context. So maybe this is his own private list. Maybe he posted it. But if everybody has their own personal list, I had a list. And my list was very, very, very specific. Up to where I wanted him to come from.
My own list. Because I had, especially as a young child, my face was quite angular. My list included that my husband's face should be over. To soften the edges of
that's what I wanted to say.
That's how specific.
So if somebody had seen that list today,
like,
you should not create unrealistic expectations of anybody. For instance, you cannot tell me to wear heels inside no car. You know where heel before. Now you know.
You know that there's some girls, Nima, that can wear heels and go for 1 kilometer.
I can wear heels. I can't wear. She's over 20 years older than me, and
I used to walk when I used to go from my office in Sabo. I used to walk from my house in Folaguru to our office in Sabo.
In
heels.
Exactly.
One day I was walking down in Sabo, so I had these two guys. They didn't know I was listening to them. Say, Omofela lo lonye. Anything that she can walk.
So you see,
so this kind of man, I would have been his spec in those days. Whether he would have been my spec.
Definitely. So let us not judge his list. His list could be that there could be a girl that can walk those.
We will judge this list. Because if I am not trekking in the hill, I'm not walking fine.
You are not trekking.
So wait. When me and my other sister went to, we were going out when we were quite young before I got married. and she wore heels. I wore flats because I knew we were going to trek. We were going to our auntie's house in Oregon there. From our house in Obadore, it was not possible. We would not trek some point. Then there was massive traffic on that Egbeda turning to Akonwojo Road. Always we will drop, we'll come down inside that and we'll trek. She was the first one to shout, when we come down, this traffic done too long. And I said, no problem. Because I wore flat slippers. And then she came down, she was not walking. At some point, you know the way heels would disgrace you. Yeah. She was bending over and she said I wasn't being supportive. I should have carried all the load. I said, sister, carry your portion of load. I carry my own portion of load. Because you know where we're going and you are the first one shouting, drop, drop. Shaking, sorry, should I carry it on my head? And she got offended. Really, heels is not for the weak-hearted. Okay. If you expect us to wear it, realistically, wait till you buy car.
No, he said there are some occasions. If I'm looking like, if he's a preacher, if he's going to church, that heels may also just connote be dress up. I hope you're someone that will dress up because we will have special occasions that I would like for you to dress up. So I've seen some people in some places and they wear slippers and I'm wondering, I think this guy for this occasion.
His list is reasonable once you get past screaming feminist in your head. But my only question is why wifey is doing all this, what are you going to do for her?
So now, let's go to number one, YK. That part of be respectful, humble, and easy to forgive. What does that mean exactly?
Easy to forgive.
When you say easy to forgive, so that means you're going to be offending a lot.
You see how this man's list makes it hard to just completely embrace him. Is that at the end of everything, he puts something that's a red flag for me.
Easy to forgive.
So respectful, humble is fine. Easy to forgive. Already, I'm like, what are you hoping to do?
Are you a serial offender?
Exactly. I don't think anyone goes into a relationship and easy to forgive. Hopefully, you're not going to put her in a position where she has to forgive. And then if she's not if she does not easily forgive, what would then happen? Will she now just carry whether she likes it or not?
It says you must be able to make a little daily prayer. Is that unreasonable?
No, it's not unreasonable.
That's not unreasonable.
Yeah.
But let me go back to what Nima said earlier. You see, when a woman doesn't pray for you, see, when a woman loves you, it's easy to be humble. It's easy to be respectful. It's easy to pray. You won't even ask for prayer.
You don't have to
because when you have done your part as a man to love wholesomely and wholeheartedly, where she feels and is exuding from everything you do, she won't have to be kneeling every day because she could kneel because it's easy. So you have a part to play first before this your list materializes in a woman.
But we
That's
don't know
crucial.
him.
Yeah, so he must be really...
So his own part is to have small change because people have told him that he should get married. It shouldn't be for 2024, it should be for 2025. Because the way he be like,
2027.
He don't be like, person where
please, let poor people breathe. Poor people are allowed to have standards and specs as well. Nobody put a gun to your head and he's not forcing you, but he's saying this is it. And somebody's looking at this list and saying, easily, I'm the wife for this man. And if she's looking at him and she thinks it's a speck, look at his beard, look at his whatever. We don't have a car now, but we'll have a car. Or there are some people that say, I have a car. I will not trek, but I have a car so that we don't need to trek.
So you can marry him.
I'm already married.
If you are not married.
What I don't agree is that, as Morel said, a lot of the requirements on this list are naturally easy for a woman to do. But the way you are listing it, the problem I have with him is that for him to list it, is that he's not looking for a woman that loves skaters. He's adding something. That addition is where your punishment lies. That's easy to forgive. Of course, a woman who is in love will be respectful, humble, should be giving, should be forgiving. But to ask that easy to forgive, that if you drag the matter too much, problem, there's the control. That's the line. Then he goes and says, you must know how to make at least a prayer for us daily. A woman who prays for you does not have to join you in the kabashi. She might be going to work and just be pleased with you and has blessed you. But you're asking, I must see you in the routine. Take your call.
Ife, thanks for calling. You're live.
Hello. Good morning, Maura.
Good morning, Ife.
Good morning.
Good morning, Auntie Annie.
Good morning.
Talk about the last issue, please. Can I go on?
Go ahead, please.
I'm the first caller. I've been trying for years.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Please, I don't want us to conclude the last issue the way we did. There is still a way out. Judging from the fact that they have 3 children together, let the woman go to her father, if her father is still alive, her family. Let them sit down and draw a prenuptial agreement for the man a strict one at that, and they can go on from there. There's a way out, I believe.
Fantastic. Thank you. That's another angle.
Because of the
so
children.
A prenup is great so that whenever you come to America, there's certain things you can't take. You can't take my house, you can't take my cars, you know, you have to be very clear.
That's a very,
so that's a very
unemotional,
yes,
out of the box,
rational.
Yes, very rational.
Yeah.
We were being emotional
Yeah.
because like we just said, no, don't marry him.
Bring it over.
I think we were being
marry
emotional,
him
we
properly,
weren't being rational.
but it has to be a proper prenup. Fantastic comment, Ife. Thank you very much. So I was going to use, I want to also take this conversation to one word many Nigerian men have to deal with, or have to, you know, they have to assess when they want to get married. Because many people ask them, are you able to control her? That word control. They say, is she somebody you can control? I remember when I was getting, I think, were we dating or were we married? I can't remember what it was. One guy, I saw my husband went to go and see him in his house. I can never forget that conversation. So he wanted to make a business proposition to me, I think. I was supposed to be the person he wanted to use. But he didn't ask me directly. He went to my husband. Can you control her? My husband was wondering, he said, no, I want to know. Can you control her? You know, we go try to find out that, because if I give this thing to Mariah, I need to be sure that there's somebody that can control her. And I'm thinking, so I was really irritated because I was like, I was even shocked.
Well, you know,
my husband now said, of course, Enomika, you know. So he now wanted to bring, when he now brought the proposition, I said I wasn't interested even in having anything to do with this person in the first place. Because of what he said, because I just already knew the kind of person he was. So a lot of men are faced with that. Can you control this woman? You marry somebody you can control. They get that a lot. Control.
What is the problem that has led to the masculinity men suffer from? Control. Can you reason with someone you have married? There's no better word for it. So when they use Shenueka, they interpret it to control. Shenueka, meaning she's your wife. Can you talk to her? It's in the Yoruba word, but the available word in English is control, which can be negative.
So they are different. Okay, wait. Okay, that's the point.
You know, when a woman is doing something wrong, the husband is like, no, gives her eye. It's not control. It's just like you control. Check her.
No. I think if your husband, if you're doing something and your husband, you're outside and you're doing something your husband doesn't like, and he gives you an eye,
it's not control.
It's not control. It's just, you know. But because we have to break that word control down.
Control can be manipulation,
sit down there.
Oppression.
Sit.
When you're not a puppet.
And if I say sit, don't stand up.
Don't stand again.
So you must. So that is control. Telling me with your eye, it's not control. It's more like advice.
Because a more controlling person is likely to get up and. So the more control.
Don't make control mean negative all the time. Control just means that control can be construed as I'm a leader and I'm insisting on this.
So let me explain something I also learned, you know, with animals and people that raise them. And I've heard that there are people that hurt animals. That there are some people that use the stick all the time, beat them and everything, and they control them. But there are some people that learn to tame them. A different way, in a kinder way. So you show them the path, you show them love. Just from the sound of your voice, they know you can change their behavior. So that control usually is affiliated to people that use it negatively.
No, it's not affiliated. Who put it? Well, because synonymous words to control can be so negative, and we've thrown it generally to boys. We did not think of the damage it does to their psyche and how they view what they control. When I'm not your Malu, you are controlling me. How are you controlling me? You know, in marriage, I had a suitor back then whose word was control, and the control was a problem. I didn't want to be. I said, I cannot be controlled. I'm not a chair you push around. I'm not even your child can't be controlled. You lead. You influence your child. You don't control them. And you cannot marry him. I don't want to see, you cannot go out at 2 o'clock. When you damage the person over time.
Yeah.
But the person that you influence positively, doesn't want to do something. Someone was asking me
control over influence.
I'm telling you, there was a day when my father spoke to us. I was 12 then, I can't forget it. And I had a guy in my university diploma days who was asking me out, and he was Christian. I was like, I can't bring this to my father. It will break him. I don't want to hurt him like that. And he was like, so you cannot marry a guy. I said, I cannot. It will break my dad to see. I don't want to hurt him like that. For me, it was about how my actions would affect him. And he was saying, they are controlling. I said, you cannot control. They never born who go control me. And he didn't take it nice. And I just said, the way my father raised us, it's anything that will hurt him. Yes. I'll put him in a place of disrespect. He's shown me too much love. I cannot repay him that way. That's how men should see women they marry. Not control. You control a woman to the point when she stands finished, she fights back. Yeah. Is that what you want?
No, but I think you are looking at the word control as a negative word. Because I've looked it up. It says the power to influence or direct people's behavior or the course of events. Yes. No, it doesn't say. Yes, in other words, jurisdiction, sway.
Yes, Wyking, you're right, but we're just saying, like, in regular speaking, you know, when people say control, they mean that someone that can dominate you. But when somebody says influence, yes, when someone says influence,
yes, what they mean.
Okay.
By control. Can you dominate her? Are you
the head?
The real head.
But when you are the head in Nigerian context, you have to be able to dominate. That's you are the control. You are the one that reasons. You're supposed to be the one to direct every single thing.
But even that head, using that head analogy, is that the head rests on something, the neck, and the neck rests on shoulders. You know, we're all integrated in one way. If the head, for some reason, decides to misbehave and the neck says it's tired, the head is no longer a head to anything. So that's how we should look at it in marriage. That even though I'm the head, I depend on everyone else to function properly.
So if we want to go by YK's definition, Mariam, so if a man says, I control you, we shouldn't make it sound negative then. If it's based on this definition, I just
but we're saying that continuous usage,
contextual usage.
Contextual usage. Control.
It is the one that
it's brought into, the meaning from what you are taking is brought into governance, jurisdiction, sway, power, authority.
Nigerian English, when someone says control, we know that that person is talking about dominating the person. That person is talking about, the one that I can place a leg on your head and you do exactly what I say. Usually when people use control, they don't mean influence you. They don't mean advise or persuade.
Let's unpack it. Yeah. Let's unpack control, because a lot of mothers will resist a marriage to another girl, saying, listen, you can't marry her because I don't see you controlling that girl. That girl is going to dominate over you. Because control is a word many Nigerian men feel as if I must be able to control my wife, no matter how educated, exposed she is. It's my job as a husband, and it's my pride. I can't have anybody who's bruising my ego. It's my pride and joy that I can actually control my wife. So are we now saying, based on either your own definition or the synonyms you've chosen to see, your own definition is an influential, it can be influential. You are saying that the synonym is control, command, dominate. Which one do we now go with?
You go with how the person behaves.
How the person behaves.
Yes, so no matter what the words are used, how the person behaves and how it interprets in how he relates with you.
You know that if I want to control Moriah, for instance, now I know you're closer to her, I can continue to manipulate you to achieve that control. I know her weaknesses, I know her excesses. Whereas in love, in marriage, you would naturally do to please the other party what you know their love language is. It could be from a place of care. The person does not have to insist that I roll you over, I control you, I tell you what to do. I'm the piper paying the puppet. You pay the piper, it takes. No,
a woman who is subservient to her man, does that make her a woman that is controlled? It doesn't. You know, so I think we are just. It's a man that is a controller. A man that is a dominant person. It's his nature.
Yeah.
You know, you can be. You can.
Let me take this call back.
Take the call.
Ade from London. Thanks for calling. You're live.
You just keep me holding.
I'm so sorry.
You have to change, Mariah.
I'm so sorry.
Okay.
It's why you are controlling. Why are you controlling?
I want to support YK. She don't look at control in a negative form. You are a lady in your father's house. Maybe your father is a millionaire. And the way they train you there is different. House boy, house girl serve you. And now married. So the husband must control you for the next 1 year or two. That this is how I want it. This is how it should be.
Must he force hardship in control?
Don't look at it in a negative way. Because he has to control you. Because in your house where you are coming from, Houseboy do everything for you. Driver takes you. This is your husband who hasn't even got a car. And you say, okay, let's go to this place. Don't do that. Don't call for taxi. If you know it's controlling, he must control you now. You want a peaceful home. That is why those fast ladies find it difficult now to get husband. Some guys are afraid that if I marry this one, I won't be able to control her. And they will remain there till 45, 50. And they will be sharing their number in the church. I praise the Lord. So, control, don't
praise the Lord.
Normal. So, I agree with Lima.
Okay, let's go on a short break. We'll come back. You see, this control matter, we'll discuss when we come back. Stay with us.
It makes our point what control means.
Stay tuned.
So
It shows the conation of raw ether material
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table. So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women.
Thanks for staying with us. So, Mr. Ade has helped us have a better perspective to what men believe control means. And because he said a situation whereby a woman, a girl, has been pampered all her life, her father is a millionaire, she had houseboy, had house girl, and everything. Now come to the house, maybe he's just struggling. He needs to control her to, to cut her to size, to be able to know that, listen, we have to humble beginnings, So
thank God Mr. Ade is not a Muslim, because in Islam, you're supposed to give a woman a condition she's used to. Grounds for divorce if you force hardship on her. Because they will now come right way or center. I would have loved to ask Mr. Ade a scenario that I knew of several years back. A woman who has a job, but she has married and decided to be submissive to her husband. And the husband asked her to do something not within the home, but that concerns her job. For instance, men will say, you cannot go today, tomorrow. You are the one to compromise. Call your boss, tell them our child is sick. Call your boss, tell them my mother is around. Call your boss, to the extent that the husband will say, call your boss. It's part of control. Call your boss, or my friend needs help in your office, or he wants to get a loan, your wife is a bank manager. He doesn't meet the criteria, but she's not a good woman because she does not respect your friendship with your friend to give him loan without collateral. When her job is the consequence of that decision.
Exactly.
We must discuss control. In fact, we won't capture control. We must break control beyond that because the abusive control is what we fly around
we
here.
are against now. The abusive control.
Why we are addressing it from how a woman takes it. My husband can be controlling me, and I will not call it control because it's easy for me to carry out. If he wants me to, for instance, now I've been married to my husband and I love to serve him. I cater to him. I love that. But the moment it's become like your head, no, they correct again. You know,
for example, let me give you an example.
Abusive.
A woman, she's the PA to maybe a major big guy, one really wealthy, and she's an executive assistant, and her boss has one really expensive LV bag that that she sees, that she talks about that just her husband. If you see this laptop bag, and the man says, I have an important outing. Please, can you let me borrow your MD's bag? Okay. And she says, I know that bag. Please, you have to, just for the weekend. I'll return it on Monday. You're going to work on Monday. Husband, because she's a submissive wife, which is what you said about work, she goes to the office, takes the bag, so her husband can borrow it for that Saturday event.
Let me give you one real life story.
A real life story.
Yeah.
So now, he now borrows the bag. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, the bag got missing or something stolen. And Monday morning, the man is looking. Unfortunately, CCTV camera has caught her that she took it. Now they put her in jail. And so start being submissive at a job that they affect
her job.
Let me buttress it with a real life.
But that was like a real life story.
So but you told you to do it now. You don't get sense now.
There's a particular company. They have pool cars. Well-known company here in Nigeria. They have pool cars. Their staff are allowed to just use it for work, nothing personal. But this particular lady, the car assigned to her is better than the car that they use at home, than the husband uses, and were to go for an event. And he insisted that they use that car. No matter what she said or explained, he would not have it. They took the car and they met one of her bosses there, and that was the end of her job.
Oh my God.
She had to be submissive. That was it.
Women, you must apply wisdom.
So, but you see, in that kind of situation, would you not? You can't tell your husband. I mean, you have to.
But that's where we come to the consequence. You have made me lose my job. Do you think that house will not be sitting on the boiling kettle every day? I will not give you peace. The way I'm wired, you will not sleep and
some women will just go from that job.
And I know someone. Who never got a job from this kind of consequence. Never. She had to go and start business.
And to explain
till date, she has not broken
why she lost. Even if she's going to get another job, she will need a referral. And they have to explain that.
Police record, because you say police record, that you're in.
So the control. If your husband is controlling you to be a thief.
I know.
Apart from that, Shebi that work is not control.
No, he's telling you to go and steal. Because to take something that is stealing, if you're borrowing anything you take that is not your own, is stealing. Then let's not couch it. I want to take Nima's. I want to take Nima's. I want to borrow without telling her. Yeah. I go and borrow Nima's 50,000, and I don't tell her. And she finds out that I took the 50,000. I say I just borrowed it. No, it's not borrow. It's stealing.
To steal.
Okay.
Let me the intention is not in question. It is the fact that you took something that is not your own.
Yeah.
So it's stealing.
Let me take Fred. Good morning, Fred. Thanks for calling. Hello, Fred. You're live.
Yes.
Go ahead.
How are you?
Very well.
This is a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
First and foremost, I would like to congratulate you as the managing director of TVC.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations. Now, my first, as the managing director of entertainment, at what point would you apply the word control in your organization?
At what point?
At what point would you what?
At what point would you apply the
word control?
Organization. Control.
Yes.
I would rather use influence because I'm not working with babies. I'm not working with children. I'm working with adults. So rather to influence people to do their work. I'm not sure what. I'm trying to understand where you're driving this conversation at.
I'm trying to say that you have to control your workers
I can't control any workers. No manager should control anybody.
Looking at control as a positive word.
Yes.
No. Well, it depends. We don't know the context in which he's talking about it. But leadership is about
the scenarios apply to the marriage we're talking about.
I want to say that, when we started this conversation, when we said that we understand what it means control the word means in the dictionary, but we also understand what it means when it's used here in Nigeria. I don't know how other people use it in countries, but in Nigeria, many times when people use that word control, they mean someone who can dominate you, break you, and forcefully fix you into a box that they, have created for you. So and the caller that, called, he just made my point exactly. He talked about a lady who's coming from a place of, wealth and is coming to marry him. And if you love that person, why is your thought about breaking her? Why is your thought about making life even more difficult for her? If that was the case, why didn't you love her and leave her? Because you know that you are not capable of giving her where she's coming from. What she's used to. Yes, what she's used to. And if she has decided to marry you, that means she knows that you are not a billionaire like her father or where she's coming from. She's agreed to marry. She's an adult. She's made that decision. And she knows what she may come to. Yes, she knows what she's coming to meet. Why don't you trust that because she's an adult and she knows the different circumstances, she will adjust in such a way that it is helpful to both of you? Why do you think that it will require her coming to you and then you have to break her into tiny pieces to fit into the mold? So that is why control, as used in Nigeria many times, just a red flag for me.
That's, you see, it's when you put it like that. Yeah. Yes, there is, because, okay, I marry a man, maybe I live in a luxurious house and I fall in love with a man. There are things that he cannot give me, and I'm living in his house. He can't give me 24 hours light. In my house, I have 24 hours light. He can't give me 24 hours of TV or something. And then I start saying, no, I'm not used to this sofa. That's stupid.
Because you know, because you already know.
That's stupid, but there are cultures where the northern culture, for instance,
so what that man was saying is, are you ready to adapt to that man's way of life? Because he cannot afford.
Yeah, he does not need to use control for the adaptation. Yes. She's looking at you. She has seen. Obviously, wealth is even the easiest thing to be able to tell. She can see that these are the things you are unable to afford, and she will decide in her mind, you know what, I know this is who you are, and I'll come, and then we'll work together to find the way to live well.
Women, Mariam, say that I can only marry somebody who, I can only respect a man who can control me. I can only respect a man who has that authority, because many of all these boys that just
it depends on how you want to be controlled. So some people are puppets with rope. You have to hold them.
There are some people that say they only want to be with men that can beat them.
Yes.
That's not making right.
It's psychology.
There was this couple that got married. Sorry, Nima. There was this couple that got married in VI, and the girl's house, she was a high flyer. Her house was in Lekki or VI or somewhere like that. His own house was in Surulere. Their marriage broke up that day. The same day they got married. Because the man said, follow me to my house. And the girl said, no. We are going to...
Why were they making home? Why were they making home prior to wedding?
I don't know where they were.
Why are you bad now?
No, that my gist. It was me that gave that gist.
Maybe
it was my gist. I gave you that gist like a several on this show.
No, this one. I heard this story not from you.
I want to even put these sacrifices that Miriam was talking about in context. In the north, a girl from a good home, when she's married, go see the bucket of things. The family too will now do wardrobe, bed, everything.
Yes,
so to ease them into the lifestyle their daughter is used to. A man will now say, I've married me, I've married you, finished. I pay for your head. That's where the abuse comes, which is more common here. You will sell out all those things and say, if you must marry me now, sleep on the floor. Because the girl is already married, she can't go back home to have that conversation. She will stay there, but she's broken. And you would rather keep her broken than keep her thriving.
But they'll tell her that's marriage. Right? It's about sacrifice.
It's about sacrifice.
That brokenness you are defining is what people... Listen now. That brokenness you are saying, you always be, that's marriage for you. That's the life of marriage. You have to just, you humble for the need, they'll tell you, that's just whatever he has said. Maybe it's only one bedroom you have. You manage with him. You manage. It's not your father's house. Because we have all advised women. Let's not pretend.
The desire for good life is it lack of submission.
But is that advice always the best advice?
That's what I'm saying. So we need to begin to...
There's nothing wrong with compromising.
Yes.
In a healthy relationship. please, let's not mix it up.
Okay.
No one says marriage is about, the only way to make someone happy is make sure you create a perfect situation for that person.
Perfect.
We know that there are going to be compromises, but remember, we're always talking about intention and how it is carried out. Are you dealing with this person as someone that you love, as a person, as your friend, as your team player, or are you taking it as a position of, I'm your master and Lord and I'm going to break you? You're a wild horse and I'm going to break you until you're submissive. Or I'm going to learn to, we'll work together. You've had people with different circumstances, background, who work together.
Recently,
where
I had to advise somebody.
where I have a weakness, your strength will
I had to advise somebody. She'd gotten married to this guy and he started to be emotionally abusive to her in the house. Like, talk to her anyhow. His kids would talk to her, and she was very subservient. But she had her own. And then he still said during the worst thing, he was talking to his girlfriends on the phone and saying, my wife is fat. And she could hear.
Wow.
And, because you are meant to advise,
Patience.
Be patient.
Marriages.
I advised her like that for 1 month. In the end, I said, you know what? If you are my daughter, let me tell you the truth. I won't advise you like that. I will tell you to get out of that marriage. So now, please, let me just drop all pretense and tell you the truth. That marriage is not for you. By the time he finishes with you, you will be a...
Nobody, you'll be a shadow of yourself.
Because he complained about her business, was doing her business.
Control that as well.
He was...
But you see, Nima, I don't know. I don't know what
if you're not confident,
that control. That's why I said there's the positive.
There's the extreme negative.
And then there's
because
the
we always make
that
marriage
break
look
that
as
Miriam is talking about is the negative.
We always say marriage is illico, like where you like a school. That is, you don't get a certificate, clinical, you get it after, some crap like that. We make it look as if there will be issues. No marriage is perfect, as I've rightly said. So when women find that emotional abuse, they find that dominating husband, they feel like it's my cross to carry. I must understand that I don't have that nice man who will love me and care for me and give me flowers. This is a man this is his behavior. I have accepted this cross and nobody's marriage is perfect. And they stay there.
And it's not to abuse a certain tribe. Or no, not tribe. There's a state of people that I told myself I would not bother marrying them. Illico thing.
I know that state.
That statement is life. When you grow into adulthood, you leave your parents, your protection. It will teach you. You will learn. When somebody says that thing to you, run. Why am I saying it? When you get there, what you meet is an extreme abuse of patriarchy. We're at a young age of dating then, and a friend of mine was dating such a family. The husband was well to do. He protected her, he provided for her. But whenever she goes to Illico in the family as a Yawole, she's made to trek from here to motorways if they are doing party. Not that they could not have ball in the household, but they will make the women say, hey, yeah, look, mommy, what? And all of them will carry bath. And she will go. But when she gets back to her husband's house, and things will just be so nice and easy, I'll be like, why can't he have a ball? Say, no, that's how the mothers wanted to, it's a proof of women. And they'll be like, and why did they say, why you? Why do you?
No. Is that a problem?
No.
It's a problem. Women's problem.
It's a women that women.
Because you're not married. You're not physically married to them.
The way me and
married to your husband when you come back to
my own auntie approached her in-laws' house the first day of Eid with 2 olokpo. She met all the senior wives. She was married to the last one. She met all the senior wives cooking every year. And she came in and said, it is for us to enjoy. She came with her 2 olokpo. Thank God she did. The tradition changed upon her own. She know they go suffer. But those other women have been made to see that it's illico thing. Like they cannot enjoy it. Why can't they enjoy it?
So I think when I've heard about this, like culturally, we've always made it to look like if a woman doesn't really suffer, she's not worthy of being a woman. And so when you ask the question that, I will not be hypocritical, because when people go into marriages, we say, you have to make compromises. But that we've been having conversations globally, even here at this table, about having to be able to distinguish between abuse and just, life and life happening to you. So when that's why when someone says her husband is abusive, physically abusive, I've ended up in hospital so many times, you're able to say, this is not a compromise we're talking about. This would kill you, So when we discuss marriages, we're not saying it's such a bad place, but we're saying that sometimes it can be abused. Sometimes the situation is abused in such a way to make you suffer when you don't need to suffer. Sometimes just a conversation that would have alleviated a lot of things is not used. Instead, brute force is used. The lady the gospel singer that died, you know, and we had all the abuse that she went through. She may be listening to someone that says, this is how marriage is supposed to be, but if she were listening to people like us, she would hear, this particular one is not what we're asking you to compromise on.
Physical abuse is a no-no.
But emotional abuse is equally bad.
Some people take
emotional is bad, but people don't take emotional abuse as important as...
No, it's very bad though, because it can even lead to suicide. Look at that poor girl that committed suicide in England. You know, that was pure emotional abuse.
Let's take a few comments on social media so we wrap up. But the truth is that marriages are different, but that word control is something that we really need to... Men need to have a different definition of what control means. It's influence, it shouldn't mean...
It's leadership.
It's leadership, influence, and...
Not brutal force, control, wire force, as if reasoning, a capacity of thinking, and logic, and critical thinking, and locks it down only for you to... If you marry such a woman, you should even run from such a woman that doesn't have...
Let's wrap up with some quick comments.
Chokus said, personally, I don't have a problem with a list. I mean, do you? But after you make your long list, sit down and take a look at that list and be everything there first. It's that simple. So if you make a list, can you be that kind of person as well? Bilikis Mafe says, you mentioned something really profound. Marriage is considered as an honor for women. This couldn't be more true, particularly in our part of the world. It's the reason an unmarried woman, a divorced or single mother is stigmatized. That's all we have.
What else? That's all? Okay, that's all we can
There are comments. Okay.
You have to wear your glasses. Sorry, we'll let you.
Sorry.
Anyone?
All right, I'd like to look for
power without control. This is from Andrew Instrata. Power without control is illegal power. Power with authority is stability with love, care, understanding, etc. Many people, then this is genuine womanhood initiative. Many people project their unwholesome experience that they have not healed. Some envy their spouses that come from richer backgrounds than them. They use the words control to whip them up to shape.
Yeah. All right, that's all we can take. That's all we can take on today's show.
And
let's a few things as we have. Have a great day. We'll see you.
Kolishlashla Mandela was born into the Madiba clan on 18th July 1918. He got involved in politics in 1942 as he helped to form ANC Youth League. He was married to Evelyn Mays and they had 4 children. Mandela was arrested in a countrywide swap on 5th